you all this evening of your time as you create time to exist.
Great.
Right. Begin this interaction this evening of your time with a reminder. You have very appropriately and very creatively manifested for yourself a doorway, a gateway, a passageway, a period of time which you have defined as extending from the 15th of March to your April 15th, that we have for you labeled Activity Month. We suggest that you do utilize this gateway as it is a conducive energy atmosphere for accelerating your ability to manifest the reality that you do prefer. We do realize that during this timing of your time, many of you are experiencing what you shall label a transition. This transition shall manifest itself in various forms, depending on the individual. Many of you have taken this opportunity to discover Many of you have taken this opportunity to, shall we say, play with the idea of trust. We suggest to you that this doorway or gateway can be used in whatever way you choose to use it, whether it be positive or negative. So we also suggest, along with our other suggestion of utilizing the gateway, that you may prefer to use it in a positive manner, if it has been that up till this period of time in your life, that it has not been your tendency to choose a positive reality. We suggest that you examine very carefully the other options available to you, the options of manifesting your reality in a positive way. Again, as we have said, this does not mean you will not have negative thoughts. This does not mean that things may not occur to your mentality, which you may interpret as negativity. Simply that you do not, when you experience this particular aspect of polarity that you label negativity, that you attempt to push it away or get rid of it, but simply integrate it into the wholeness and fullness of the full being that you are. Ultimately, in keeping with the theme that we have been conveying to you, the determinant factor that shall be what actually results in positive or negative manifestation is your ability and willingness to act in a positive manner. If what you consider to be negativity crosses your stream of consciousness, simply do not act upon that perceived negativity. For this gate is a very powerful gate and will just as quickly manifest that negativity as it will positivity. So if you find yourself preoccupied with thoughts you consider to be negative thoughts, that is all right. You can examine them. You can, shall we say, explore the ideas of these negative thoughts. Explore and delineate what belief systems you must still contain that are not serving you in terms of manifesting your preferences within your physical life. You can use the negativity in that way, and that is integrating the negativity rather than manifesting it through action. When you are done these explorations, these observations, these periods of time which you are being very honest with yourself in what you must still believe in order to be experiencing these negative thoughts. However, when you come to the step, the action step, the step that will be the accelerating step towards taking what are merely thoughts, energy, and manifesting them as physical reality, it is at this stage and this point of the process in which it is essential that your action is reflective of the positive meanings that you have gleaned from these negative thoughts. Understand, it is not a new concept to any one of you that everything that occurs, every physical occurrence, is a fundamentally neutral occurrence. That is nothing new to you. I think at this point we can safely say you have bought into that one to some degree. What you are experiencing within your mentality as a negative thought is simply your label of that neutral occurrence, in a way stemming from your old perception that the present is a result of the past. And therefore, when a fundamentally neutral situation does occur that in your past was perceived as negative, you then, acting on this outdated belief system, assume that this new, fundamentally neutral situation must also be negative, for that's the way it has always been in the past. You can now see why we have shared with you the idea and reality that the present is not a result of the past. Each and every situation that does occur, aside from being fundamentally neutral, is a new situation, even if many of the parameters are similar to the way in which you have encountered them in your past. It is not exactly the same, and therefore, by definition, not the same at all. If you change but one seemingly minor aspect of any interaction, it is a completely new interaction. If you perform an action, and moments later perform what you perceive to be the exact same action. Understand, it is not. For the second time that you had performed that action, you had already performed it a first time. Whereas the first time you had performed it, you had not performed it at all. So even though the motions may be similar, by fundamental definition, it is a new situation. We cannot stress from our perspective the importance of allowing this concept to sink into your belief system. However, your belief system, whether or not you have created it to seem whether this is so, is a matter of your choice. You choose what to believe. By continuing to believe things which do not serve you, it is your choice at that point to continue to manifest that idea. We have shared with you the idea that changing a belief is as simple as wording the belief that you do prefer in your physical plane. A nice touch, sort of say, is to affirm it out loud with conviction. Although that is not that necessary, it can be helpful, but what will manifest your new belief system, and the step in which many of you have, shall we say, not meaning this derogatorily, fallen short of, is the step of taking that belief that you now have affirmed and do prefer, and, listen very closely, acting as if it is already so. There may be portions of you initially, when starting to work with this principle, that thinks, oh well, I'm just making it up. I don't really believe that. But an interesting thing will happen. By proceeding in action, as though you do believe that, you will experience firsthand the idea that believing is seeing, and not the other way around, as you have believed in your society. We have reiterated to you several times on several occasions that we can prove nothing to you. But we have also always followed that idea up with the idea that you can prove to yourself these ideas, but only through your action. In working with, altering your idea to the new idea that the present is not a result of the past, not only do you free yourself up to be able to see the positive ideas in any fundamentally neutral situation, you also, shall we say, for lack of a better terminology, dismantle what has become your self-imposed law of karma. What we mean by this idea is as follows. Your whole seeming law of karma which presupposes that for every action you take, you must experience exactly that action in order to achieve a balance. This entire concept cannot exist if you understand in a fundamental way that the present is not a result of the past. You are now existing upon your planet in this transformational time. You still manifest the idea of forgetting your connectedness to all that is. However, the difference between this physical life and, shall we say, using your timeline, your past lives, many of the things within this lifetime that it is that you fear, you have already lived out in many of the past lives in which you have had. We shall revise this to say all of the fears that you have been lived out in one life or another. Therefore, even from a standpoint that the present is a result of the past, you're all at ground zero. And there is no need to put any energy behind fears that you have, for you have already lived them out. And now you can look at them in a different light. The different light of which we speak is looking at your fears as they occur as opportunities to point out to yourself portions of your belief system which are no longer serving you, to help you to manifest the life you prefer. So, a perspective we may convey to you, along with a suggestion, is that from now on, when you find yourself fearing, that you get very excited about the idea, instead of thinking, oh, something must be wrong, I must be backsliding, I am so afraid. You can now say, oh, an opportunity for me has just come up to examine my belief system in a way where I shall be able to, within this sitting, weed out a belief that no longer serves me and replace it with a belief that I prefer. Oh, joy! Everything is a matter of perspective. This is only a slight shift in perspective. However, what happens is a mere shift in perspective results in a grand change in your physical reality. The idea that you cannot perceive a reality that you are not the vibration of is one that can be very comforting, as you are rearranging your belief system. For understand that as you do change these beliefs, you can only attract a reflection of the new beliefs. And these new beliefs, as you replace them one by one in action, are physically raising your vibration. And a side note that we might make here at this point would be the idea that you do not have a signature vibration. You do not possess a vibration. You are a vibration. You are your signature vibration. That is why last evening of your time, we suggested to you that rather than try to picture the idea of a vibration, simply allow yourself to get into your meditative state, your state or place of perfect peace, and feel or experience your vibration. This will give you a much better idea of what this vibration is, as well as allowing you to be more synchronized to it. Then your excitement will be more clear, will be more surface present in terms of acting as your parameter toward action in accordance with your higher self purpose. We also suggest that as a group, you begin, as you have not, to use the parameters we have given you. The idea of clear intention, clear definition, desire, deservability, and clear action. It is in our civilization an automatic process that is not rigidized. However, on your planet, you have created the idea of writing things down, which is very helpful for you. And what we are suggesting, in some way, shape, or form, is the idea of an itinerary. In order to do this, you will have to make and leave an appropriate amount of timing, either within this evening of your time or on another. However, all the acceleration that has been achieved by this group has been, shall we say, remaining within this group by performing actions. That is the way to spread the manifestation of these ideas on outward, as well as be living examples of them yourself. One moment. We are closing a slight, shall we say, crack in our communication. One moment. Thank you very much. In return for your willingness to create this interaction with us, to co-create all interactions within your physical experience, and allow us to provide to you reflections from our perspective, which differs greatly from yours, but you have the ability to live your lives in much this manner. That is why we are communicating to you. In return for your unconditional love and willingness to co-create this with us, I ask you now, how may I be of service to you?